Hi there, students. The Sword of Damocles. Very often, the Sword of Damocles hanging over your head, or like having the Sword of Damocles hanging over your head. This is that something bad is likely to happen to you. You're worried that it's going to happen. So the local football club is very worried because the council have threatened to cut funding. So this cut in funding is hanging over their head like the Sword of Damocles, a funding cut like the Sword of Damocles. Okay, so this is a situation where something bad could happen. It's a threat that could happen to you. It's something bad that may well happen. It symbolizes the constant threats that powerful people face, or a threat that's looming, that's coming, and it prevents you from being happy. I think that rappers use the word Damocles, or the Sword of Damocles, to symbolize the fact that if you're a top rapper, that's really cool, but it's really easy for another rapper to come along and depose you, and that being deposed is like the Sword of Damocles hanging over your head. It's talking about an impending disaster. The government is only trying to do things that make people happy at the moment, because the next election is hanging over their head like the Sword of Damocles. Okay, it's something that's coming soon, and clearly it's a threat. It's an imminent peril. Okay, it's a state of impending doom, which is a constant threat, and you don't know when it's going to happen. Okay, let me tell you the story of the Sword of Damocles. Apparently Damocles was a courtier in the in the court of King Dionysus of Syracuse, and Damocles was fawning to Dionysus and saying how fortunate he was, what great power he had. He had power without any exception, and he was surrounded by magnificence and all of these beautiful things. So Dionysus offered to swap places with Damocles for one day, so that Damocles could have an idea of what it was like to be so fortunate. So Damocles accepted this, and Dionysus put Damocles on the throne for a day, surrounded by luxury and beautiful carpets and silver and gold and perfume and beautiful women, etc. And then Dionysus took a sword, and he got a hair of a horse's tail, and he tied it around the handle of the sword, and he hung this sword above Damocles' head. So there's just the one hair of horsetail holding up this sword, and this was the idea that, yes, to be king, to be in power, you've got riches and fortune and anything you want, but there are always threats and dangers against you, and there are enemies who will get rid of you as soon as they get the opportunity. And so Dionysus showed to Damocles that it's great having this position, but there are also these massive dangers that could stop you enjoying them. And Damocles begged Dionysus to allow him to forget the deal and go back to just being a courtier. Let's see. This story probably comes from Timaeus of Tauromenium, who was a Greek historian about 300 BC. It was also used by Cicero as well. And the sword of Damocles. So the sword of Damocles hanging over your head. Something bad that could happen to you at any time. Things may be good, may look great, but you've got an impending disaster or an impending problem. So, for example, if you live in an earthquake zone, I think, Los Angeles is an earthquake zone. So they always have the sword of Damocles of a big earthquake hanging over their head. Yeah, so it's something bad that could happen. It's something that gives you this feeling of a constant threat. Yeah, I guess in economies, when things are going well, there is always the sword of Damocles that the economy will change and things will get worse. And this is the sword of Damocles hanging over your head. It's hanging by a thread as well. So, I guess that's probably enough. Sword of Damocles, formality. 6 in formality, use anywhere. And the origin is this story I told you about Damocles and King Dionysus and the sword hanging over his head. So, enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. The Sword of Damocles.